Greetings, hungry nerds! February 2020, Harley Quinn, spoilers! Puddin' DC Universe. This movie is officially titled Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Right? Is that right? So I was mildly excited about this film. I wasn't on the hype train or anything like that, and I'm not the biggest fan of the DCU, as I try not to hit the microphone. But I know that they're capable of putting out fun and entertaining films. So while my expectations were around the middle, they were exceeded. And while we know that Margot Robbie is great as Harley Quinn, I did not like the Suicide Squad movie. Not even a little bit. Hated it. Okay, maybe hate's a strong word, but I didn't care for it. So I was worried that this film would focus heavily on that version of the Joker, which I don't care for it very much. But Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn is really good. We all knew he was going to be referenced in this film because of the trailer. I was a little worried that there would be a little cameo there, and I was also worried that the focus of their breakup would be too much of the focus of this film, and it was. There was a lot of exposition dialogue that explained how they broke up, but it led somewhere that made sense to the story. Luckily, the whole backstory didn't take away from Harley Quinn being her own character, which, funny enough, is a major theme of this film. Harley Quinn being able to stand on her own and be a strong, independent character. Harley Quinn is a strong, independent woman who don't need no Joker. She don't need no Joker. They established early on in this film that all of her antics, she was able to get away with a lot. Just because she was the Joker's girl, and she kind of took advantage of that even after the breakup, that she didn't tell anybody that they were breaking up, yet she was still like stealing people's drinks and breaking people's, like, she was just like doing like crazy shit and getting away with it just because people were like, she's the Joker's girl. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But once it becomes public knowledge that Harley Quinn and the Joker are no longer a thing, literally everyone in Gotham starts to come for her at the expense of her bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Which, by the way, that sandwich looked amazing. So good. And they had like this close-up of them cooking the bacon and the eggs and the cheese with a little dash of hot sauce. It looked so good that after the movie I went and got myself one. I just couldn't help it. So good. It broke my heart when they were chasing her through the street, and then that sandwich flew in the air, and it hit the street, and it came apart. And you could just feel, like, her heart breaking, too, for that sandwich. And it just, like, it shows how good Margot Robbie is at emoting, at just showing different emotions. And she's a broken and unhinged character, but everything is so like whimsical and quirky that like even when she's like heartbroken, it's still like cartoonish, but it's fun, but you could still feel like that sadness when it comes to like the sandwich, or like when she was sitting in the apartment and she's spraying the cheese in her face and just like the string of cheese, and it's just like she doesn't give a fuck, right? She's heartbroken. It's like a fun depiction of a breakup, if there ever was such a thing. Again, Margot Robbie is fantastic as Harley Quinn. I can't really think of anyone else who could pull off the character as well as she does. She's unhinged, she throws caution to the wind, and she's slightly cartoonish, but she does have a good heart, you know? At the end of the day, she does care, and she just wants to give her heart for love. And the whole adopting the hyena thing, naming it Bruce, I thought that was like a really cool storyline. I enjoyed every bit of it, except when he went missing for that one moment. And she even related to and took under her wing this pickpocket kid, Cassandra, who she stole a diamond that belonged to a bad guy. And if stealing it wasn't bad enough, she decided to eat it. So the diamond is in her stomach. This diamond has like a key code or something on it to this fortune And so like everybody's after this diamond, specifically our villain, Roman, aka Black Mask, aka Ewan McGregor, who I thought he was fine in this movie. He was definitely fun to watch at times, but there were times where he was like way, and I mean way over the top, like holy shit. Like there were definitely moments in this film where Harley Quinn felt like a cartoon, but he went almost full Roger Rabbit a couple of times. I really like him as an actor though, so it was kind of cool seeing him all unhinged like that and screaming and his hair getting all disheveled. There were a couple of times though where he was yelling and I noticed his accent changed. Just a little thing that I noticed, but it didn't bother me all that much, but it was a little bit distracting. There was one scene where he went full on lunatic. He's in his club and he just flips out on a couple of patrons that were there because he thought that they were laughing at him for some reason. And so he has the woman stand up on the table and makes her dance, and it's so uncomfortable. My skin was crawling. And then he gives one of the men that she's with a knife, and he's like, rip the dress off of her, and it's just... His character did make me laugh a couple of times, though. There was a scene early on, and they're interrogating a couple of people, and he has one of his guys, like, slicing the face off of a couple people. There were 3 of them, and he sliced the face off of 2 of them, and you could see, like, them holding the skin of the face, and it's just, And then he gets to the last one, and she's, like, crying, and just snot and tears are running down her face, and he's like, I'm gonna let you go, and he talks to her, and trying to be, like, sympathetic, and then he's like, is that a snot bubble? Never mind, cut her fucking face off. He was a little bit one-dimensional in terms of a villain. Not the most interesting villain. His motivations were very simple and just, get the diamond. Yeah, we've seen it before. Speaking of little things that I noticed, there were a couple of fight scenes where the choreography was a little off. A couple of the grunts that were pretty much just there to be beat up by Harley Quinn. There were a few moments where I saw them like doubled over and looking, and it seemed like they were just waiting to take the next bump, which was a little distracting when you could like see the clear-cut choreography. Aside from that little detail, the fighting scenes and the action were very fun and exciting. A few notable ones, the scene where she broke into the police station with the confetti gun, and she was just shooting people with confetti, so she's not like killing people, but you know, she's breaking into a police station and shooting confetti at police officers and detectives. It was just colorful and fun, and her quips in between talking to like various cops, it was very entertaining. And she makes her way down into the evidence room, and once she gets her hands on her signature baseball bat, it just makes a turn for the brutal. Holy legs going the wrong way, Batman. That scene leads to her hiding behind a pallet full of cocaine, and they're shooting at her, so some of the cocaine gets in the air, and she like breathes it in, and she turns into Popeye, where she all of a sudden gets this like power up and starts kicking ass again. It was a very clever moment. My only question in that moment is, you know, she hit a line drive. She hit the a thing of cocaine in a line drive to the villain grunts, and they don't get the same power up. I mean, it's really cool that they did that little sequence, but I just had that question why they didn't turn into Popeye also once like they got hit in the face with coke. I don't know. I don't know. I really enjoyed the final fight scene as well after the Birds of Prey come together. I guess out of sheer necessity they come together. But I like that scene in the funhouse where all the little props like the hands and different slides and things like that come into play with the fight. It was a fun and original way to bring together like hand-to-hand combat. This film featured a lot of narration, which at times felt a little bit out of place, but I didn't mind it all that much because of the character of Harley Quinn and how I guess we're getting in her head a little bit here in this film, so it didn't bother me all that much. There were a couple of times where it messed with the pacing of the film, but overall, It didn't take me out of the movie all that much. I don't really know a whole lot about the Birds of Prey and the source material here, but I didn't mind that they came together at the end because this is a Harley Quinn movie, essentially, and the Harley Quinn stuff on its own was good enough. But I do hope that in a future movie, they bring the Birds of Prey back, so that way we have a full-on movie with these characters, because I really liked them, especially Huntress, Helena Bertoloni, right? It's Italian, with her whole storyline and the whole Sicily thing. I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot, and I want to see more of her character. The plot itself, it was very simple. We've seen it before. Bad guy wants the diamond back. But that aside, I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. The film looked awesome. It was colorful and quirky, and I was never bored. I'd say this was a breakup movie meets a heist movie. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. But overall, this was a pleasant surprise, and I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I think I'll give this like a 7.7 out of 10. High sevens. Pretty good. Fun movie. I recommend it. Thank you guys for watching my review of... Thank you guys for watching my review of Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey and the phantasmal emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you thought of this film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you have fun watching this movie? And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay tuned, hungry nerds. Bye, everybody.